I think I've got all the bugs worked out, he said arrogantly. Howdy, folks. Welcome to Trilby's Notes, the third in the Chizo mythos. My name is Raqus. With me is the voice of dog.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm excited for this. This game is good.
Yes. This is, out of the four, this is my personal favorite. This is the one where, the story, the scope of things starts growing and building outward and turning into what I think is, in my personal opinion, where the game shines. So, couple of things to deal with is I'm going to turn the tutorial on. The game controls very differently than the others in the series, and
yes,
so it'll be helpful for those watching unfamiliar just to have that little reference of how things work. But I'll turn the commentary off since that's the vein we've been in. As always, I recommend going to Fully Ramblomatic, downloading these special editions yourself. They are free now, and the commentary is available there if you're interested in such things. I'm a special features nerd. The following documents are taken from the handwritten notes of Trilby, an STP field operative whose real name remains unknown. Game over. That was what I thought as I stood and watched Defoe Manor collapse into flaming ash. The ordeal was over. Those 5 days cost us all so much. Philip and AJ paid with their lives. They were the fortunate ones. Jim Fowler was expelled from school for truancy, a bright future in tatters. Simone Taylor took to the bottle. Her broadcast became slurred, her eyes hollow and unwelcoming. She soon vanished from television screens. As for me, I tried to return to life as a cat burglar, but I had been forever tainted by my time spent in that wretched house. The memories of my possession came back in my nightmares. Every night I was there again in the mansion, staring through unfamiliar eyes as Philip died at my hands. I became convinced that John Defoe was not at rest, that someday he would return for me. I became so terrified of invisible enemies that I forgot about the tangible ones. 2 slow, miserable years after Defoe Manor, a barrage of truncheon blows taught me a harsh lesson in reality, and I woke up in the kind of filthy cell I assumed would be my new home. But then he came. The man from the government with his nervous smile, offering an alternative. The STP, the Special Talent Project. It hadn't been that much earlier that I would have sooner died than entered an obligation with anyone, least of all the government. Had Defoe Manor changed me so much? Whatever my reasons, I left my past behind and resolved to give my new superiors nothing to complain about. I spent a year and a half completing assignments, developing contacts, building a reputation. And then the past caught up. In the summer of 1997, I became concerned about Simone Taylor's mental well-being. The papers were reporting her continual breakdown, and she had become a virtual recluse. I had no idea if my appearance would assist or hinder. I had, after all, deliberately allowed her to think me dead. Presumably she knew differently now after the media coverage of my arrest, but I would expect her to be bitter about my subterfuge. On balance, I decided...
I probably would.
I would, too. I mean, it's a big lie. On balance, I decided that a meeting with an old friend would most likely be beneficial. I came to her apartment building on a warm, stormy night and braced myself for the encounter. So, controls in this game are entirely with the keyboard. And a text parser. Use simple sentences like the ones we remember to program. Yeah, that is the indicator, that scrap paper with a question mark on it, that you are near something interactable. So it is context sensitive. So, for instance, standing in the middle of the hallway like this, if I were to type knock on door, there's no door for him to knock on because he's far away from the doors. There, however, you can knock on the door. F3 recalls your last command. Tab opens up your inventory. Shows what you had with you. And notice the notebook paper. The whole frame of this is that someone is reading through a collection of notes after the fact, hence the game being called Trilby's Notes. That comes into play later, but it's worth keeping in mind. And also, the controls, I'm not holding the key, it's just push to start, push to stop type situation. We're in Simone Taylor's apartment. It is a dark room. This is one of my favorite moments in the entire series, just because of how stylistically neat it is. We have a shadow. We can only judge the room by the way that shadow crosses on these two light sources. So, over here, we are over by the window, so let's open the window. Let's open the shade. Let's spell shade properly. Oh no.
Ah.
That's not good. The body on the floor was undoubtedly Simone. I felt for a pulse, and my hands came away stained with long-cooled blood. My fingers traced the outline of a large wound in her torso, slashed by a big weapon, wielded by a big assailant. I called for an ambulance, as futile as it would be, and left before they arrived. Due to me being a clear murder suspect, I was relieved from duty for the week it took for the Ministry of Occultism to inspect the flat and confirm supernatural activity. My superiors simultaneously apologized and assigned me to investigate if there was a connection to the Defoe Manor incident. Merely reading those 3 words capitalized in the front of a loose-leaf file brought the nightmares back with more intensity than ever. Sure enough, a field agent reported that looters had discovered and sold several artifacts from the museum, including the wooden idol that had housed John Defoe's soul. We know where that ended up, but now we're trying to figure out how we got from A to B. To my surprise, no murders had been reported or committed by anyone who came into contact with the accursed trinket. I did not find this reassuring. I quickly advised James Fowler to go into hiding. He was stunned but agreed. The boy had sense and still respected my judgment. This done, I began following the idol's trail. From the pawn shop, it had entered the possession of one Professor Abed Shahal, an authoritative historian. Abed Shahal, you may recognize, he is the ancestor of Captain Barry Chahal of the Mephistopheles in 7 Days a Skeptic.
Yes.
He had scheduled some kind of antique fair in the Clanbronwyn Hotel on a small island off the coast of Anglesey, popular with tourists. Anglesey is a real place. Clanbronwyn Island is not. Assuming the role of a scholar of antiquities, I booked a room. On the 28th of July, 1997, I caught a ferry from, I am not even going to attempt it, Welsh, in Anglesey and arrived around 3 p.m. in Clanbronwyn Island's coastal village. Porthchug? Welsh is such a strange language. It seemed a peaceful hamlet, and in defiance of stereotype, the locals were welcoming and told me no local legends to dissuade me from exploring the island. The Clanbronwyn Hotel was in the island's center, surrounded by forest. I made my way there on foot. I'm not going to read dialogue. We'll be here all day. Oh, that's fair. I just figure those couple of cutscenes are worth it, but I'm not going to, nah. Dr. Lenkman with the Ministry of Occultism. So, Lenkman's kind of a prick.
I was going to regret this soon. Also, Terrence Railby.
Yeah, everyone loves to point out that the Master Thief just has the worst surname, like the worst fake name ever. We're in room 3C. Also, take note of that painting on the right side between the two doors. Look familiar?
Yep, that was in John Defoe. That was in John Defoe's house.
I really love Professor Chahal. He might be my favorite character in this game. He is such an awkward, dorky little man who is so passionate about what he does.
He also has a bad memory, and that works for us.
Yes. Astute reader, yes. Absolutely, I remember that. He's also, not shy about making a spare buck or two on the side.
Opportunistic.
Well, in academia, it's publish or perish, and you got to take advantage of these opportunities when you can. And away we go. That name is pronounced Siobhan, by the way. Took me an embarrassing amount of time to realize that. I don't know what that B is doing in there, but that's Gaelic for you. Also, the sprite animation has gotten a lot more detailed. Like, I love, you can notice, like, she's sitting with her legs crossed, and you can see Professor Chahal's paunch, and just these, like, little subtle details that they, with the higher resolution sprites have allowed them to put in there. Okay, so, conversation. There are no dialogue trees. You ask a person about a topic. So, for instance, I can ask Siobhan about Abed. And then find out that that's incredibly rude to do. So I will instead ask.
Yes, logic still applies here.
Look, I'm bad with people. Okay, about antiques. God damn it! Ask Abed about idol. There we go. Just get right to the point. Just cut the fucking nut.
Oh, you mean the idol? Oh yeah,
Uh,
the idol. Everybody
yeah,
knows the idol.
the idol. You know, the idol. Um, I would say one of the weakest, and you'll figure it out as I'll point it out. But one of the weakest things about this game is relating to the idol, and just a staggering amount of coincidence that has to take place. But it's kind of necessary. So Abed has all the Defoe artifacts on display for in the hotel. So we just want to get in and out as fast as possible. What else have you picked up from the mansion? What have we got? Yes. Remember the rocking chair?
Yeah, that's still around.
Memories.
Oh, that's why I felt sick.
Yeah, that's why my stomach hurts. So one of the things, at the end of 5 Days a Stranger, you may recall Trilby was acting very cool and suave, and I'm out of there, and it's all good, baby, and I'm going to go punch my fence in the face. It's been kind of retconned that he's sort of psychologically strained, to put it mildly. The way, you know, a human being would be after such things. What? No, we're good. No, we good. What? It actually... Sharp-eyed viewers may have noticed the word Chizot written on the back wall in blood. So this game is taking most of its influence from two sources. Two sources that are very close to my heart. And one of them is Silent Hill 2. I don't think I need to explain how that works, but just in case...
Very clearly another world.
Yes. The other one is well, we'll see, but it makes me very happy. Okay. His body is here, his soul is not. So we know from this that Dr. Chahal is in room 2B. Look at couch. Man, you gotta love that whispering right in my ear. Yeah. It's like the worst ASMR.
Hi, welcome to Spooky ASMR.
Is this what gets you to sleep at night?
No, fuck that. Shit's annoying. Stop whispering in my ear.
So, this right here, like any good Silent Hill clone, we have a bizarre lock type puzzle to work out. Man, not man. What's in 3C? That's our room.
That's supposed to be our room.
Chizo, love me. Stuck shut. I think stuck shut. And it works on a similar. It works on a similar code, if you will, as Silent Hill, where if the door is locked, then you can open it, and if it's stuck, go away, don't bother. It will never open. Stuck and stuck. I think Abed's and our room are the only ones that we ever get into.
Yeah, I don't remember doing a lot in the actual hotel rooms in this place.
Yeah. Ooh, run. Look at notes. They appear to be entries from a diary. July 18th. Felicia and I took shelter from the storm in a decrepit old hotel in the forest. It seems to be completely deserted, so we bedded down on the floor of the lobby for the night. It's so peaceful here, the noise from the storm seems far away. Exploring the hotel, it has become increasingly clear that the place is not as innocent as it first seemed. We found ancient corpses and evidence of terrible deeds in several of the rooms. The storm had cleared, and we intend to leave as soon as possible. July 20th. I am certain now that devilry is at work. Every path we take through the forest brings us back to the hotel. We spent a whole day trying routes to no avail. Felicia keeps talking of a demon she fancies she saw in the hotel kitchen last night. July 21st. Felicia is dead. I was too late to help her. I saw her murderer just as she did. Perhaps I will be next. I am beginning to understand. July 23rd. The murderous figure in black, the one whose body is savagely stretched into a mockery of form, is not the architect of this nightmare. Rather, this is the work of that hideous lord of the forbidden lands. Gods forgive me. July 25th. I built a shrine to my captor in the lobby in an attempt to appease it. Nothing has changed. I have no more food. The horror is starting to affect my mind. July 28th. That's the date, folks. I am certain my mind is going. I imagined for a moment that the hotel had changed, had become finely decorated and welcoming as it must have once been in the past. I blinked, and it returned to its normal, hateful self. The next few pages were sprinkled with blood, obscuring some of the text. August 1st. Nope. Nope. You make sense of it.
It's bad.
It is bad. He's at... Nope. I must have done something wrong. Nope. It hurts. It hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts. It hurts. So, Felicia and our friend there are clearly from this realm of existence, whatever this version of the hotel is, not ours. So this isn't just some pocket dimension or what have you. This is a world with people and inhabitants. A world which we're gonna fucking vamoose from right the hell now.
Oh.
Oh, did you never go outside? I don't think you have to.
Just that didn't help.
Yeah, I don't think any
Not
of
good
this.
out here.
Yeah. It's just one fucking. And we're back. I don't remember this being. I don't think you have to come out here, but it's fun. What's this on the wall? Oh, a cow skull. That door's locked.
There's just a body there.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those, you know, they set out like a little bowl of mints. Or, you know, M&Ms or something.
Oh, yeah, it's like complimentary body. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a snack. You know, just take
Complimentary flayed corpse.
Yeah, take what you need, but leave some for the rest. Oh, good, he had been alive. That's fun. So another thing to look out for in this game are a trinity. One of the big framing themes going forward is going to be trinities, and as you can see, we've got 3 frames on the wall over here in various states. Those will come up later, but keep that in note. We're going to be back here more than a few times.
There's something on the counter there?
Might be. Let's go take a look.
I see a pixel.
Look at counter. Ooh, yes. Take pliers. And again, tab just pulls up our inventory. Yep, that's great. That's my favorite.
This is fun.
Yeah, it's a happy room. This is very not food safe. Ooh, rancid meat. That's my favorite kind of meat. I'm gonna take it with me. Open door. It won't do. Look at the body. I wonder if we can use pliers on nails. We can. Oh, hi, friend. You might want to get some sun. You're looking a bit pale. Okay. 2 sinks, filth and mold. An envelope. Take envelope. White pill bottle and a note. Trilby, if you're reading this, then you too have seen the hotel change. At present, I have no idea if the alternative hotel is part of the ethereal realm or some kind of construct, a pocket dimension. Pretty sure it's part of the ethereal realm. We found evidence suggesting that earlier. There's a definite correlation between one's level of agitation and one's tendency to reality shift. Fear is your enemy. It leaves you shining like a beacon for whatever evil brought us to this place. Enclosed is a bottle of tranquilizers from my personal first aid kit. When you find yourself shifting into the other place, take a pill and try to calm down. The real hotel will return. Do not let it concern you. I am researching the phenomenon. Your task is to find Defoe. Good luck, Ancient Linkman. Oh, Linkman, he gave us some pills.
Thanks for drugs.
Thank you for drugs, Linkman. With your
Don't
fucking
pay for drugs. Let your friends do that.
gray anorak. Hey, you know what? Free drugs are the best drugs. Take a pill. Takes effect. Everything starts to shake. Back to the real world. So it's like Origins. right? Silent Hill Origins was the one where you could actually control.
I didn't play that one.
I didn't play it either, but I think that's the one where you could you control your shift between the light world and the dark world. And here we have a similar concept. There is a way to force ourselves back into the dark world later, but it's optional. And the hotel's nice again. Kitchen door still refuses to open, though. Deadbolt on the other side of that door. Bar looks pretty normal. You stare blankly. Look at sign. Look at game? Oh, just says out of order. Okay, fine. So some housekeeping stuff. In case it hasn't been made clear, Trilby is now working for a government agency that investigates the supernatural. The Ministry of Occultism is the government branch. Trilby is basically a contractor from a group called the Special Talent Project. The distinction between those two is so blurry as to almost not really matter, but there you go. The Ministry of Occultism is sort of the viewpoint for this world going forward through the next two games. And there's actually a novel written about them, which is quite fun. It's called Differently Morphous.
I guess we can go to our room finally?
Yeah, let's go check that out. Sometimes these stairs are a pain in the ass.
And of course they put us on the third damn floor.
Well, yeah. It's the best view. I guess technically it's the fourth floor. Three A, 3B. Smoke alarm. Remember that for later. It's a nice little setup. You even got a couch. I can't remember the last hotel room I was ever in that had a couch. Although the TV doesn't seem to work. Maybe, let's go and say hello to Abed and apologize for having a small freak out and running away. Oh no, we're back in the bad place.
I was about to say we should apologize for phasing out of reality during our last conversation, but we just did it again.
We already did it again. So the way it works is, as you move from room to room, Trilby gets more and more agitated, and will, after a random amount of time, I think it's somewhere between like 3 and 5 room transitions, just end up back in the dark realm. Which leads to situations where you're doing something like this, walking through a door over and over again when you need to get to the dark realm for progression reasons. Although later on, there, like I said earlier, is an optional item that will just send you there. Someone had boarded up the door. So let's take a pill. And we're good. Now let's go apologize to Abed. Or look at the painting. He felt a bizarre urge to reach out and touch... Well, I have poor impulse control. Oh no. Defoe Manor, July 28th, AD 1821. Matthew Defoe is 15 years old today. He is excitedly putting the finishing touches to a painting which his father commented on encouragingly, the first time he has ever been supportive of Matthew's artistic leanings. Matthew is now convinced that his father is lifting from the mysterious depression that has plagued him for as long as either of them can remember. Now he intends to make the painting absolutely perfect before showing it again. So the other game the other game that Trilby's Notes takes influence from is a GameCube game called Eternal Darkness. I loved Eternal Darkness. I am very sad that when I bought a Switch recently, there was no way to play a port of it on there somehow.
Sorry, I had to step out. And we're in the past.
Oh, we're in the past. We are young Matthew Defoe talking to his father. In the first of our many... So in Eternal Darkness, for those who aren't aware, there is a book that your main character, a woman named Alex, is reading. The book has stories traveling back in time about people who have dealt with supernatural forces in the past, and she reads them to learn about her particular situation, and you play those stories one at a time. This game follows a similar framework. I like it. I like it a lot. And they are discussing this strange African tribal god figurine that they've brought back from one of their safaris. These are old colonialist, very not nice men. The sort of folks that history has not been kind to for pretty good reason. So this idol that we don't have any recollection of whatsoever, I don't know what you're talking about yet. It's the same idol. Look at it. Was found in the wreckage of a clipper ship called the Sea Angel. Yes, Papa. So interesting of note in this room, on the wall, look at knives. We have a jungle machete hung up amongst the cutlery as a joke. We have an apron on the table. And over here is a mask that's the sort of thing used by metal workers. Although in, what was this, 1821? That might be a bit
Roughly.
anachronistic. You'll also notice the layout of the room. This is the kitchen. In 5 days, over here is where the refrigerator would have been. And over here is the door that was boarded up, which is locked, but there is a gap at the bottom of the door. Also, if you hit tab when in the past, such as we are right now, how could I, Trilby, possibly have known what Matthew was carrying that day? Just to reinforce that we are, in fact, Trilby in the present time, having a flashback hallucination to the events of the past. So we'll take the glasses. We have a friend.
Hello.
Guess I could cut it out of the frame.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Nope.
Slide painting under door. I guess I just have the painting on me.
Yeah, it's in your inventory. How dare you, sir?
You intrude on my hospitality. I expect a lot more jowl in that. I don't know why. How dare you,
Like
sir?
I mean, when you say that, absolutely. But Roderick didn't seem like a really jolly guy, or at least they didn't communicate that in his sprite.
Sure, but when you think of those, like, old-timey great white hunter types, it's all jowls and mutton chops. And douche.
Only tribe it could have come from all died in slavery. So it has to be a forgery.
I suppose it must. Sure, I'll just give you alcohol. That seems like something you could use more of in this state. Well, had being the operative term. That silence is chilling. An hour of silence passed, and Matthew grew concerned about his father. Strangely, the most disturbing thing had been Sir Roderick's reaction to Matthew mentioning the boy behind the door. In the past, raising this had usually provoked a violent rage or an instant flat denial. Matthew wondered what sort of anxiety was going through his father's mind. So the diary entry we have already read. We know how that goes. And we know what's going to happen on the other side of this door, but I want you to take note in particular of the dialogue.
Boo.
Whew!
Well, we've seen the incident. Now we know everything.
Yeah, took something that was, abstract and made it gut-wrenchingly real. That's really disturbing to watch. Also, Abed's very understanding about our little incident earlier. There had been something very wrong about that idol even before it was used to destroy John Defoe. A name stood out in my memory, the Sea Angel, the name of the ship on which Sir Roderick had found the figurine. I now had a lead. And it just so happens that there's a chisel from the Sea Angel among the artifacts. This is the coincidence thing. It's very convenient that everything we need just happens to be in this hotel, despite it being from thousands of years and spread around the globe. The dialogue that Roderick and Matthew spoke in that scene that we just watched is almost slightly rewritten, but very, very nearly exact to the same dialogue spoken by Simone and Jim when they were possessed at the very end of 5 Days a Stranger by the spirits of Roderick and Matthew reliving that night.
What's that thing?
There's a thing. What's under the painting? Look at paper. It was a page from a religious book. And I enclose it here with these notes. Victim 5, the child. The fifth man who desired judgment was the child, whose father had held the carving of the slave. The prince came to him and was at once rightly pleased with what he found, for the house of the child and his father already knew well the name of the king. And as the prince watched, the child was thrown down by his father and broken with the wood of the prince's soul. But as the child's body, mind, and soul began to drift apart, the prince held them together, and he said, "You are the child, and to you I grant power, for I see in you the potential that will grant my father the king his greatest wish. You shall not be of the land of technology nor of the realm of magic, but of both, and thus you shall form the bridge. And across the bridge the king shall come to bring his message to the man of technology. Through you, the child, the bridge will come, and thus I name you the bridge keeper." And the prince touched the child, and he was the bridge keeper. And his three aspects were granted power, so that his soul would join with the prince's soul in the wood of the tree. And the bridge keeper rose up and threw down his father, and threw down his brother, and truly did they know the name of the king. And into the house of his father went the body and the mind of the bridge keeper.
This all sounds extremely normal.
Yeah, yep. Victim 5, bear in mind.
Victim 5.
But there we have the core trinity that this game is themed around: the body, the mind, and the soul. Someone appeared to have left a match. Well, I'll just go ahead and take those matches. Well, we do have a chisel in the display room, but the door's locked. So how do we get in there? But now we got matches. So you know what they say to do with matches. You should play with them. Children especially should play with matches. We're not a children. But we do have the smoke alarm.
Light and match?
Yes. Hey, friend! And thus the emergency exit opens. And what's on the table? A crowbar. So, here is one of the things we're going to have to get used to thinking about. Take crowbar. Damn it. Climb ladder. So, we're going to have to start getting used to thinking with trans-dimensional portals.
We're going to have to start thinking about this.
So if you recall, in the dining room, the door to the display room to the north was locked with a deadbolt. Can't get through it. But we got this crowbar, and in the dark world, it's got these boards nailed up to it. So, makes sense to go ahead and use the crowbar on the boards. And they are free. And there's never again going to be a use for that crowbar. Might as well throw it away. Oh, it was bent.
Crowbar.
Cheap-ass crowbar. Open the door. But,
not where we want to be.
Not where we want to be. Lots of meat stuck up here. Although it does, I believe, this symbol on the wall here. May want to go ahead and just keep that in the back of your head. That's going to be important later.
Looks like something from La Mulana.
I am not as familiar with La Mulana, so I couldn't say. I know what it means in this game.
I forget what it means, actually, but I'll remember at some point.
It'll come up. So we can't, so might as well just take us a pill. And since we opened up the boards, right? But the door is not open because the deadbolt is still closed in this world. So the way you got to think about it, and there's a reason you get an item to prevent you having to do that over and over again. If you take the pill in the dark world, that door is open, so you can go through it, but once you pass through it, you transition back to the light world. Sneaky. Oh, hey, look, the rocking chair. And since we're here, this was not my room.
No.
Eternal darkness style sanity freakouts. I love it.
This isn't happening. I forgot about those in this game. Yeah, they do exist in this game.
Oh yeah, no, Eternal Darkness is very much three paintings on the wall, Trinity. On our small table over here is a bottle of some kind of soft drink. And then there's some Defoe Manor artifacts amongst the knickknacks. Set of manacles. The chisel that the professor had been talking about. Take soda. So, drink soda. The caffeine starts to work you up. So drink soda is the opposite of take pill. Now we have a quick and easy way to transition from one world to the next as we need to. And with that out of the way, this part is going to involve the African slave trade, so just be aware of that. Well, it will once I get close enough. Loud buzzing played in my ears, and my vision began to cloud as I reached over and laid my hand upon the tool. Somewhere in the Atlantic, July 25th, AD, 1789. Mobutu had been a great warrior. In battle, his skill was thought unmatched in all of Africa. He had had respect, a great house, a slew of beautiful women, children to make any father proud. But through just one mistake, it had all been torn away. His mistake was in standing by his beloved king when the invaders from the coastal kingdom arrived. Now his great house was in ruin, his women raped, his children murdered. And as for Mobutu, the worst fate of all, sold to the white men in exchange for weapons, shackled with his fellows in the hold of a slave ship.
As you do.
Like you do. Mobutu was strong, perhaps he could have lived as a slave, but then came the sickness. Simple fever, no doubt to be gone the next day, but the white men took no chances and threw him overboard. For days, Mobutu drifted, waiting for the black cloud of death to descend. Having lost everything, he now sought only the embrace of the deep, a welcome end to a life betrayed. But the end did not come then. Voices, unfamiliar, speaking an unfamiliar language. Mobutu was suddenly terrified that the slavers must have returned, but he was as weak as a newborn and could not move or speak. Note that the language is parenthesized. They are not speaking English. That is for our benefit. I believe this is meant to be Dutch.
Oh. The Dutch still had slaves, though, didn't they?
Yeah, or maybe this is meant to be English, but the parentheses are to indicate... No, yeah, it's English. Okay, my bad. The parentheses are probably then meant to indicate that Mobutu cannot understand.
This is just in a different language.
Yeah. Regardless, English or Dutch, Mobutu wouldn't understand. He wouldn't know either of those languages. So this next section, we have to progress through a language barrier. These were not the slavers. The ship was different, less crowded with terrified black faces. And there was anger in the voices of the white men, but not directed at Mobutu. Little bit of historical revisionism, just titch, but Still frightened, but somewhat reassured, Mobutu passed out. Days passed and Mobutu's health was restored. To have been rescued by the ship of these good white men had been a fantastic stroke of good fortune. He decided that it had been the will...
Telling me.
Yeah, right. You found the one ship full of the nice whites.
You found the good white people. Good job. You found like the half a dozen. Good job.
It had been the will of the gods that he should survive, and that proper thanks would be in order. An idol, that was the answer. If he could just find some suitable wood and a sharp blade, he would carve the finest idol of his life.
No, Mobutu, no.
No, it's
Probably
good.
Shouldn't do that.
No, it's fine. He's got he wants to. It's look, it's only polite. That guy's working with some tools. Look at man. ask for tool. Does no good. Talk to man. Any communication has to be nonverbal. Gesture at man. I think this is kind of clever. I've never seen a text parser game work through language this way. I haven't played too many of them, so I can't claim to be, exhaustively familiar with the genre. But it is a neat obstacle to have to work around. And the sailor handed Bamuta a sharp, almost brand new workman's chisel. Sweet. So we have a chisel. Now we gotta go find us some wood. I said climb the ladder. And this crate here has O'Malley Shipping written across it. Just tuck that away. Large crate was sitting in the shaft of light with the letters stenciled on that Mabuta did not recognize. It was cheaply made with poor quality nails, and some of the boards looked ready to fall off. The wood of the crate seemed ideal for Mabuta's intentions. He decided to leave it here until he was ready to carve the idol. Okay. Use chisel on wood. Chisel on the wood creates the offering. After several hours, Mabuta was very pleased with the result, a fine rendition of his kingdom's god of fertility and good fortune. All that remained now was to return the chisel. Let's go give back to the nice man. Oh, hey, look. That idol. Look familiar?
No.
Not at all?
Not in the slightest.
Oh, it's the same idol from Defoe Manor.
I know. I was being an idiot.
I was being a double idiot. Oh, no.
Well, it looks like we're all idiots now because we're fucking dead.
The idiot is me. Also, all of my complaints about 7 Days of Skeptic's sound design, this squishy noise makes up for a lot of that.
Yeah. Can we... do a command. Just do any command.
Too late. Did I miss an Easter egg?
The text is unique for that part. If you try to do anything at all, it just says a certain phrase that may be repeated in game. That's all I'll say.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I know another. Okay. We're gonna stop being coy.
Next time we have a scene with that guy, try and do something, and I think it'll get the same result.
Yes, there's one in particular I can think of. The vision faded, and I felt myself being hurled forcefully back into the present day. That tall, thin creature, that black-clad ghoul, what was its significance to my predicament? Why did it appear again and again throughout history to spread death and horror? There was no connection to the idol's shape or Mabuta's trial deities. The tall man was no fertility god. I hope not. It must have been connected to the wood of that crate somehow. Bit of a leap.
Really shitty fertility god.
There had been a name on that crate Mabuta hadn't been able to read, but I, looking through his eyes, had. O'Malley Shipping. Could the owner have been an ancestor of Siobhan?
Huh.
It's only one of the most common Irish surnames, but what the fuck, maybe. It was a flimsy possibility, but at that point my only lead. I resolved to discuss this with Siobhan at the earliest opportunity. What is this? More paper under the door. Recognized as being the same source as the one from under the painting in the lobby. Victim 4. We're counting down now, you see. The slave. The fourth man who desired judgment was the slave, who had not been brought Freehorn's message, and who tormented the wood that was the prince's soul with the sharpened blade. The prince came to him, and he struck the slave down, and he knew the name of the king. And the prince said, "Not one of your household shall I leave alive, slave, for thrice now have I brought my warning, and any who still fail to heed shall be named as fool, and judged most unworthy in our sight." So the prince is the tall fella in the long leather jacket.
The prince is going around doing some shit.
He is, Oh, hi, Abed. It's funny, I now have two characters named Abed that float around in my head, and they are very different from one another. Ask Abed about dinner. Damn it. He doesn't want to talk about. Fine. Let's just jump to the. Let's jump to the gun. I don't know. What do I know about young people today? Mr. Railby. How's Abed doing? He really needs to get his food. Maybe Abed's hypoglycemic. That's a thing.
What do we ask about now?
Well, we do have this shipping
right.
company that probably... Do you know how many O'Malleys there are? What are the odds? It's not... That is a very odd question. But as a matter of fact... I'm going to stop pointing out the inane coincidences now, but rest assured they're in my head. The game is still my favorite despite those. Keep that in mind. And you know what? Let's just do that. Let's just be good about this now. Oh, she called me Terry.
Yeah, that's really dumb.
Master thief, master of subterfuge. Hmm. No.
I think that's dumb, and you're dumb.
I think that's a bad idea. Stop it. Huh? Oh. Huh. If I had a collar, I'd be tugging it. And yeah, I love that even the game calls him out on how terrible his fucking alias is. Okay, calm, just chill. Oh no. Duh, fell down. Oh, fell down. Oh god, what do we do? What do we do? My favorite. Kick face. Damn it. Oh, I gotta wait till he gets over me like that. Kick face! It is a game over if you don't kick face.
It is a game over.
Should be fine. Actually, you know what? We saved right outside. I'm gonna just do a quick little... Do-do-do-do. I don't remember if this one has, like, cool death screens or not. We're about to find out.
I don't think it does, but we haven't seen the game over yet.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, no.
287.
287.
287.
287. Wow, it gives you a lot of time. This concludes the text of the notes found in the Clanbronwyn Hotel on August 4th by an FTV blah, 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 blah. Missing in action, and presumably the world has fallen into eternal darkness. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not very interesting. Okay, I don't really feel the need to show off other game overs then. But you know what? But dog, you know what?
287.
287. 287.
3R1.
You know what this means? This means we get a second helping of kick face. Oh,
God,
right.
he went really far back for that.
Yeah, no, he didn't want to risk it. I would imagine, I don't know for sure because I've never been able to test this in the real world, and this is a good thing. That a full double boot to the chin, you're fucked. You're in need of serious medical attention after that. She's not just gonna sleep that off. Anyway, I'm gonna root through her bags. Not bad. Some books and personal stuff. Okay. I feel like she probably would mind. Doubly under these circumstances. And I read my discoveries out loud, because that's the kind of guy I am. A haunted shipping crate. That was made from the wood of a very expensive-looking harpsichord. The man identified himself as Jack Freehorn. That's a name that's going to come in handy. The Rooms of Jack Freehorn, July 28th, AD 1778. He is a studier of the occult. It is worth bringing up that the original meaning of the word occult is hidden or secret. Or in this case, lost. It was part of a wall. So the wood that this harpsichord was made from came from an inn in Wales, and it would later go on to be a shipping crate and then later an idol. There's something about the wood. Fingers drumming. That night, Jack was stirred from his bed by the sound of music emanating from his new instrument. His first thought was anger, mostly because the harpsichord was an antique never intended to be played. But then he listened to the haunting, melancholy tune and felt his stomach roll inexplicably with fear. This is actually a fairly good approximation of what a harpsichord sounds like, and I like harpsichord music.
Yeah. Also,
something
this
about
the song shows up later in the series.
Yes, it does.
It's like there's a slight motif during the Dark World song, but it's very faint. But it shows up in the next game as well.
Yes. Who's playing my harpsichord? Oh, no.
No.
The tall man was playing the haunting melody in the harpsichord. Except for his hands, his body was completely still. Oh, no. Look at table. Letters, notes, papers. Ooh, and a pistol given by his father. Take pistol. You're gonna get it, buddy. Show you how we do things in the old country. He had read of the strange entity that recurred frequently in the stories surrounding the Unicorn Inn and the objects that were later constructed from its wood. And he knew with absolute certainty that the tall man would destroy him were he not destroyed first. Alright, well, we know how this works. Bang!
Wilbur?
His body, mind, and soul.
Freehorn is the first one to
He
try to
survived.
communicate with the tall man, and the first one to survive.
And he went on to form a bizarre religious cult. An inn called the Unicorn. Why did that ring a bell somewhere in my recent memory? Where do you think it was? Victim 3, Freehorn. The third man who desired judgment was Freehorn, who had brought from those who made luxuries of the wood that was the prince's soul. The prince came and struck down the lover of Freehorn, and Freehorn knew the name of the king. And Freehorn said, I know you now, O prince, who was the arrogant man, and I anticipate your wish, and I will devote myself to spreading the teachings you have brought me and the love of our king. And the prince was satisfied, and Freehorn called all those who would listen, and they formed an order of blessed agonies that would work to redeem the follies of the men of technology. The Order of Blessed Agonies.
Yay.
Sounds like a fucking fun organization to be involved in. Part of trying to phrase this without giving too much away. Wilbur being Freehorn's... Oh no, we're back in the bad place.
Mm-hmm.
Take pill. Actually, don't take pill. I can show something off now that we've established some stuff. That doesn't make sense. Wilbur being Freehorn's lover... From somewhere to the west, I heard the familiar sound of a door being unlocked. Oh, hey, I guess we did need to be here. Yeah. So that little noise you just made, I've been watching a lot of One Punch Man recently. And
Do they make that noise a lot in there?
Saitama's usual response to somebody like showing off and doing their super move is just to look up and go, huh?
Okay. I kind of forgot it because I watched it back in like 2016.
I did too, but my partner hadn't seen it, and she's not really into anime, but like, no, you'll like this one. It's kind of a deconstruction, and it's funny, and she seems to be digging it. Anyway, more relevant. These three paintings, you may recognize, you could potentially interpret, rather, as being going from left to right, a body, mind, and soul of John Defoe, where his mind is blank and his soul is now shattered.
Interesting.
Just a neat little artistic touch. Lankman? What you doing, buddy? Save the game. What's Lankman doing in the dark world? This is definitely not food safe. And you shouldn't be locking the emergency door during business hours. That'll get both the fire marshal and the health inspector on your ass. Oh. Ha ha ha. Well, bugs are small. And so many. Rather, that lump of rotten meat we've been carrying around.
Yeah.
You all can just go have yourselves a little snack. What's this weird thing on the floor? What? Ah, I see. I railroaded here without thinking. So normally what we would do at some point is want to take a pill, but the anxiety did not lift. The decay of the alternate hotel had spread, and the pills no longer worked. This is all to find a way of restoring the pills or finding another method to calm down. And as we see here,
Take more pills.
Takes so many pills. We've got a skeleton, and it rises up, and this water dripping from the ceiling. It's no longer just skeleton, it is meaty. So we use the pills in the drip. I said we use the pills in the water. Look at water.
Mix.
The liquid was having a strange effect on a nearby corpse. Puddle? Use
Mix pills.
Oh, maybe mix, yeah. Mix pills with water.
Never mind.
Drink water. Aha. As a pleasant feeling of simultaneous coolness and warmth spread through my stomach, I realized the water had some sort of rejuvenating effect. I had no explanation for this, but at the time I didn't care. I was beginning to feel in the back of my mind that familiar tickling sensation that indicated a reality shift, so I swiftly scooped a few drops into the liquid into my pill bottle, shaking it through the remaining pills. There. Pills are fixed.
It's not how pills work, but okay, sure.
Shh. Dark World FDA says it's fine. Hanging on.
There's something in this room.
Yes, but we can't get it right now. Believe me, I've tried.
Oh, okay.
We will be back. If I were to try to get it right now, it would get grumpy.
It would tell you there's no reason to pick it up.
Yes. Oh, hi, Abed.
No, I definitely did not kick her in the face really hard.
No, she's sleeping. She's fine. She had a couple of... I'm not a bad man. What's this sign? Ancient shingle from an establishment called the Unicorn. Could this have been the same unicorn mentioned by Jack Freehorn? I suspect it was. And that's kind of a unicorn-ish, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go with that. But Abed won't let me touch it. Because this one has just been sitting here the whole time, so now we need to put something in the way of just going up and poking it.
Right.
Well, what does he know about the unicorn? Lie out the ass.
I may also have to go into a sort of fugue state for an hour.
Yeah, just don't, just like
over the sign.
Don't just, leave me here. Don't touch me. Don't, I'll be fine.
Definitely don't yell boo.
The shingle's design was a simple one of a unicorn's head and half profile, painted with average ability on a dark oak backing. As I pressed my fingertips to it, however, the design seemed to extrude from its backing like a hologram, and seemed to draw closer until my vision was filled with wood grain and mediocre brushstrokes. Judgmental much, Trilby? I could vaguely detect the professor speaking to me on the very edge of hearing, but by time I realized it was already gone. Whoosh! Somewhere in Wales, July 28th, AD 1581. You may notice all of these flashbacks take place on July 28th. Or,
that
as
incident.
A wall might have pointed out,
28/7.
28/7, over and over again. Owen Somerset. Somerset.
Yeah.
A traveling merchant was on his way back to his wife and family in London, having concluded some business dealings in Welsh. Ceredigion, in that town. Caught suddenly by a summer storm, he spied an inn by the side of the road and marveled at his good fortune. Owen Somerset, ancestor of Malcolm Somerset, who we thought was named Jonathan for the bulk of 7 Days a Skeptic. The innkeeper seemed quite taciturn, but Owen was in a good mood and was determined for it not to leave him. It was probably too late to continue riding, even if the storm cleared. Owen decided to inquire after a room for the night. During 7 Days a Skeptic, at the very beginning, when the opening cutscene plays and someone is looking through news reports, the first line of text on the computer says, "Welcome back, Malcolm."
Yeah.
That is the character we are playing, who later, at the very end of the game, is revealed to have killed his own father and claimed the identity of his father's name, which was Jonathan. His name is Malcolm. There was really no good way to work that in without spoiling anything. But here it is now. And this is Owen, their ancestor. I wonder... Inquire about room. Because that's how they phrased it. Guess not. Ask man about room. That's not how you run a business, sir. Well, if you say so. Well, time to go Karen on this man. From the wood of a fallen oak. Ask man about room, I said. No, still can't leave. Owen's very stubborn. He will insist. That's one of those things that sounds like a good deal, but I have questions. Well, let's just take us a little sleep. Owen lay himself down, intending only to test the bed's softness, but in his exhaustion he quickly succumbed to sleep. In the early hours of the morning, something jolted Owen from his slumber. A piercing sound. No, a piercing smell. There's smoke coming through the floorboards on the bottom right there. And that's not good. Can't use your cape on him, maybe? Nope.
We need something else.
Technically, it's a capelet, I suppose. I'll just put it out.
Nope. Alcohol won't work.
No, I mean, it's probably low enough proof that it would not, it wouldn't catch.
It probably wouldn't exacerbate it, but it probably wouldn't put it out either, would it?
Well, typically, you need to be about 80 proof before it's really flammable. Your beers and your wines and such things, they've got more. They're more liquid than alcohol. It's gonna.
Oh, sure.
It's gonna douse the flames more than anything. But there is a sheet on this bed. If you take it with you, it's for comfort. Your stupid half cape would have worked just as well. Who do you think you are, Lando Calrissian? Boosh. Oh, thank God we put out this burning wood or corpse. Hmm. But the innkeeper said the wood came from a tree on an island. Could that have been Clanbronwyn Island? Given what I was seeing, it seemed a valid, if worrying, possibility. Clanbronwyn Island is where we happen to be right now. Besides that, it seemed I had no other leads, so what would I do? I was determined not to let the trail end there. If there was just a single clue. And what's this paper say? Trilby, I know you are following a trail. Go to the roof if you wish to proceed. Blankman, that's not the note I was expecting. This is what I was expecting. Victim 2, the innkeeper. The second man who desired judgment was the innkeeper, who had bought the wood of the tree and built from it his house. The prince came to him and his guest, and he struck the innkeeper down, and the innkeeper knew the name of the king. And the prince turned to the innkeeper's guest and said, You I shall not let live, for once before have I made this warning, and still my soul aches with what is done to the wood that is my soul, and I will spare no man who injures me in this way. And the innkeeper's guest knew the name of the king. To know the name of the king is not a good thing.
It means bad.
It means usually your skull. Hey, Abed. What you doing, buddy? You know, you can't just make small talk, can you? About bar. Note there is a small white dot over Abed's left shoulder. He doesn't seem to like the whiskey, but what's that? A porcelain leg.
Yep, here we go. I gotta step away for a sec. I'll be right back.
I'll go ahead. So on the bar in front of Abed, there is a porcelain head to go along with the mannequin. Abed seems convinced that we're responsible for Siobhan abandoning him, and he's starting to get a bit grumpy. So he needs a drink. He doesn't want the whiskey. Fortunately, there is one other place we can find him a beverage. What is that? Oh, okay, I'm fine. So earlier when we were in here, Dog was mentioning that there was something to pick up, and he was right. In this wine rack, there is a bottle of wine. Decent vintage. I don't know anything about wine. But we wouldn't have been able to take it earlier because we didn't have any reason to. But now that we do, we can. And Abed's gone. So, Abed started drifting into a bit of a depressed and agitated state, which, as we recall from earlier, makes him shine like a beacon for the forces of darkness. So, it seems that Abed might have been sucked into... Oh, okay. Never noticed the game was working in here. Well, that's farewell to Abed. But we have a head. Get me out of here. Okay, we're good. And the door to the office is still locked. And we're mostly, after this, meant to explore to find the remaining limbs. I believe one of them is outside, if I remember correctly. Out the priest or prisoner, acolyte or slave.
Okay. How goes the collection?
Well, Abed's not doing so great.
What
But
happened?
we got a head.
Oh, yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yes. We got a leg and a head. Nope. There we go. I think one of the limbs is out the fire escape. I thought one of the limbs was out the fire escape.
I think one of them is outside the hotel.
Not open door. That's not a door. That's a ladder. What if we drink the soda and then we open the door? Oh, look, there's an altar. Four equilateral triangles arranged into a star contained within a single large circle. We've seen that symbol before also.
So now what?
So, or not soda. Take another pill. Boosh. Because that is the only room in the game where you can't actually transition to another room. So, in order to prevent you from soft locking yourself, boosh. Then yeah, maybe it's just outside. Oh, I guess you do have to go outside the hotel after all.
You do. I remember that.
The memories, they come back now. It has been a long time since I played these. Sweet shuriken symbol. We are coming up, we're getting on the end.
Yeah, we're coming. Yeah, we're counting down our list of top 5 victims of ghost atrocities.
Our top favorite 5 torture victims of the last millennium. That's my arm. I want it. No. Okay, nothing over there. Now, I do know we need to get into this door, and it's locked. Nothing on the first floor.
Yeah, I don't remember where these things are.
I think 2A is Siobhan's room, 2B is Abed's room, and 3C is my room. Yeah, here's Siobhan, but she's not here. She's no longer sleeping from when we double booted her to the face. Abed's not going to be using his room anytime soon, although I do appreciate that all of the rooms are laid out differently. They're not just copy-pasted. That's fine. What's the worst that could happen from taking my 50th tranquilizer of the day?
You build up a tolerance after a while.
Yeah. I had to be on painkillers for an injury not too long ago. And it was scary how quickly the diminishing returns kicked in.
Yep.
Like,
your body extremely gets used to it very fast.
Yes, and it was just like, wow. I am glad this is only a temporary injury. Aha.
There we go.
An arm.
Is that the last one?
No, I got to get into the hotel office for the last one. Because I got 2 arms and a head. I just need the right leg. Oh, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. The master thief, I was thinking of where am I going to find the key to the office. What key? What key? The one thing that Trilby's actually pretty good at in his job description, and I forgot he could do it. Like, he reveals his identity everywhere he goes. He blunders through every situation, but boy howdy can this man pick a lock. God dang it. And Dark World. Oh, no. Alright, and there is the last of the limbs. I also really appreciate how in the light world the floors are carpeted and so you have this heavy thud sound effect. And it's more of a clacking step on the Dark World wooden floors. Five Days a Stranger, I think, did a similar thing where the sound was different from wooden to carpeted floor.
Where are you going?
I'm going to look at this here door. Because we got this here door. This here door that was either stuck or locked. And then, we picked it, but it still won't open.
Nope.
Merciful heavens, how are we going to deal? Caffeine swills in the brain. So we have our Silent Hill style gruesome body puzzle.
I think you could just say attach limbs.
And the head. Hey, look, it works all over. The body was intact. For reasons I couldn't explain, I sensed that something had changed back in the real world. I couldn't explain it either.
Boy, this sure is strange.
Yep. Boy, howdy, if there were a
sure
door
is a
here.
Weird locking mechanism.
I wonder what the far-reaching ramifications of those actions could possibly be. I really like the shading on the back of his trouser legs. I like these details. And the sun. What's this note? The note seemed like another of Lenkman's letters, but for some reason I felt my gaze drawn to the stone. Oh, jeepers. Clan Bronwyn Island, July 28th, AD 1501. I don't think they measured time in months and days back then, but we'll go with it. Oh no.
This will work.
Yeah. You big meanie. You're awfully reasonable about that. Yeah, it's Gordon. It's my college roommate. He owes me $12. Well, good. Now Siobhan's got the tranquilizers, and she can take care of herself as she needs to. That leaves us in a bit of a bind. But we're gonna stalwartly march forward into the darkness. Trilby, I am very close to ending this. Meet me in the hotel basement. I must show you my discovery. Lenkman. The other page was another of those religious papers. The Book of Victims. Victim 1, the woodcutter. The first of those against whom the prince sought vengeance was the woodcutter, he who had held the axe that first felled the tree. The prince came to him and his son and struck the woodcutter down, and the woodcutter knew the name of the king. And the prince turned to the woodcutter's son, and he said, You I shall let live, for you are young and are of the innocent, and that you may go among your people and tell them of what I will wrought. And the woodcutter's son fled and told of all of what he had seen, but the men of technology are arrogant, and his words were unheeded. Well, I'm in the basement. And I no longer have my pills.
Yep, we're stuck here.
Well, there's a tunnel down there. Oh, jeepers. That's Oh, hey, it's back. Oh, jeepers. Oh, hey, it's back.
This is normal.
Yeah.
This is fine.
I'm good. I'm good. This happens to every young man in his life. Well, this is a mighty powerful stump. The remains of the tree that Boyle and his father cut down, its wood being later used to construct an inn, a harpsichord, a shipping crate, and an idol. I could feel the same scrabbling in my mind that I had felt just before all of my visions. This time it was the stump itself that seemed to be beckoning me closer. Well, you know what we do when the wood beckons.
Touch wood.
Touch wood. Touch stump.
55
Okay,
before
55
Christ.
BC. Would we have had a July 28th then? Is that?
I mean,
I
the
don't
day
know.
would have existed.
Sure. Clan Bronwyn Peninsula. Cabadath, a Celtic druid, awaits the return of his friend and colleague Galden, who brings news of the invasion of Anglesey by the Roman Cinconius Paulinus. Roman names are hard. I'd have to look up the pronunciation if I were to do it justice. It's like Welsh that way. Having fallen out of favor with his fellows for certain radical beliefs and activities, Cabadath lives in solitude in this remote forest clearing and prefers not to travel himself. So not only is he a druid, but he's kind of a fringe radical druid. Which for the time, I can only imagine what that would entail.
I know what you say you can do.
You say some batshit craziness that I don't believe a single word of.
Oh, boy.
Hey, we've been in this room in our fever dreams. On July 28th, the pain elemental can glimpse our world. Some ancient texts thought it was June 28th, but that appeared to have been a mistranslation, and we don't speak of it. What you're about to see also, take note of the dialogue. Chizou. I don't know where you got that impression, but you're wrong. So, two things to note. One, the incantation that he spoke aloud there is very reminiscent of the spell that Trilby casts at the end of 5 Days a Stranger. In this Hall of Death, by Baedolin's gift, or in Trilby's case, Prometheus's gift, both referring to fire, and he tempts him with gifts, 3 of which. In Trilby's case, it was his helm, armor, and sword, and in this case, it was with pain, madness, and greatest loss. Those 3 things is another trinity you're going to want to keep in mind. Pain, madness, and loss. That is going to come heavily into play in the last game. Chizou, of course, has no use for meat. It feeds on pain. It does not kill its prisoners. Kabadath's agony was a particularly rare morsel, and Chizou ensured it would last. His soul was placed inside an oak sapling on the site of his old home to grant his body immortality. For 5 centuries, as the tree grew, he knew torment beyond even his most depraved imaginings. By then his body was warped and his mind long fallen into soulless dementia. He was Chizou's, utterly and completely his slave. It was nothing. It was daydreaming. Is fine. It's all good. Nothing. So Kabadath, the druid, and the tall man are one and the same.
Yes, Kabadath is the tall man.
And when Roderick killed John, he infused John's soul into the idol which already contained Kabadath's. And by doing so, Chizou can now leverage a foothold into our world. Your order? Me, really? This is also to retroactively give Trilby a much better reason to send the idol off into space instead of just burning it.
Oh, yeah.
Because knowing what he knows now, if he had just burned it, that would have given the Order one step closer to their plan. A knife in my gut brought an explosion of ice-cold agony. I heard the pitter-patter of my blood on the rocky floor. The pain, the surprise, and my exhaustion went together to cause immediate unconsciousness. I awoke to find myself splayed upon the stump, blood still slowly leaking from my wounds. In my injured state, I could barely move. My limbs refused to respond. I was as weak as a newborn. Okay, this is a bad spot. In fact, one might go as far as to say we're in a tight spot. After he takes my life, he will be grateful, and then he will guide them to their destiny. Gonna just go ahead and deal with that. So, I've never done that before. I didn't know that.
Blood. I got blood on my shit. Man.
It's got a tear in it. Over on the right there is our coat stained in blood. Tied up on the back wall is Siobhan. Helps if I spell her name right. Lankman's got his little ritual. Is that a rope behind Siobhan? Nope. Oh, hey, the idol is on the stump. Touch idol. Take idol. That ain't gonna work. Well, it's becoming harder and harder to breathe. Air rattled in and out of my lungs like a buzzsaw. Blessed agonies of body, mind, and soul. guide failed in his duty. Vision was clouding up. Stubborn will was the only thing keeping me alive. I died.
I died. Good final puzzle.
Very good.
Very good final puzzle. Like, you know, we made it pretty obvious, but...
Lankman is not winning any Employee of the Month awards right now. And this is a little extra from the fact that it's the special edition. A little bit of a cliffhanger for the final game.
Oh, this is some plot spackle here.
Yes. You will be seeing more of that man.
We're on an island.
They got hospitals on islands. Don't touch it. Now it sits across from me. The reality shift had cleared up, and we were free to leave. An STP cleanup crew arrived with the ambulance. No trace of Abed or the hotel staff was found. Officially, they've been classified as unexplained disappearances. Lankman and the tall man seem to have also vanished, which does not surprise me in the least. Siobhan signed the Official Secrets Act, and the last I heard is staying with her parents to recuperate. Which just leaves me to write up my notes, with the idol that haunts my dreams gazing at me from across my desk.
But shouldn't you have wrapped that in bubble wrap?
Shh, it makes an interesting conversation piece, and it's an excellent paperweight. I was dead. I can't pretend I wasn't. No amount of CPR could have brought me back from where I was. So who did? The man in red? Who was he? If not an insane hallucination and brain death? Unimportant. I am alive, and that's all that matters. Just that, and the destiny of this wretched statuette that I am apparently fated to carry out. Every instinct in my being wants to burn it to ashes and grind them into the dirt, but I do not. Lankman spoke of a prophecy that the destruction of John Defoe's soul would somehow help him and his order summon their dark god. So if I destroy the idol, they win, but what else can I do? Certainly can't keep it. I know from experience that it leaks malevolent influence like a broken pipe leaks water. The only other option is to hide it, but where can I hide such a thing and ensure that it's never found again by human hands? I shall have to think about this. What if you hid it in space?
What if it were in space?
Marvel style after credits sequence. Trilby's notes, everybody. And I'm going to let these credits play out because they're pretty great. I'm also not going to attempt to read these because they go by very fast. I somehow doubt the quality of the king's love. Trilby's
There he
notes.
Post Davin.
That, to my reckoning, is the best game in the series.
Yeah, I think that's the most complete game in the series, and it has the best story, the most interesting story. It takes pretty heavily from some games that I like, but it does it in a way that's entertaining.
Yes. It also takes heavily, like specifically with Eternal Darkness, it takes a conceit that could stand to have a little more mileage on it. Because I can't think of anything else that's used that sort of framework. And Eternal Darkness was great. And to this day, I'm still kind of bummed that... Because they had plans for sequels, but fucking Two Humans sort of derailed that whole company, and womp womp.
Yep.
But also my fucking vampire games, the Legacy of Kain series, same company, Silicon Knights.
Oh.
Yeah, it's goddamn Too Human. But that's neither here nor there. The fourth and final game will bring everything to a close, and there are still many more secrets to be unveiled now that we realize just what sort of playing field we're working with. I want to thank you all for watching.
Or for worse.
For worse, or for worse, or for even worse than that.
Yeah. The last game is a bit of a train wreck.
I
say that right now.
I like it. It is poorly received, but I like it. Anyway,
It is a thing.
I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank the Voice of Dog for hanging out.
Sure.
And next time, 6 Days of Sacrifice. Thank you, everybody.